Off-grid living or self-sustaining type of living has become more popular in this generation. It's whenever you disconnect from the electric grid and you're basically living off of your own land, you're making your own food and your own electricity, everything you can just to not have to depend on anybody else because we have natural ways of doing that. And this generation is doing that to reduce their carbon footprint. It's helped save money because, of course, with the cost of living right now, it is absolutely insane at how expensive everything is. So it's cheaper to have a bigger startup for prices and then have better output come later. Home gardens are one way that everybody is starting to do it. It's actually really easy to start it yourself. Um, as I stated before, the startup for everything is actually a little bit more expensive, but it has constant output, so it ends up saving you money. Depending on which way you end up growing your garden, it can be done DIY, which is do it yourself. One way to reduce that cost is to just grow the plants that you eat or grow stuff that you eat. You can have chickens running around, so that way you have constant eggs. There are meat chickens you can buy, so that way you can kill them and harvest their meat and you'll have constant meat. If you professionally set it up, like a whole 9 yards, like the fence, if you do the raised garden bed or just however you set it up, it can cost anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000. So that's a very high price for that. But whenever you set it up yourself, it can be done DIY. It can be done for probably $2,000 or less, I want to say. There are different kinds of gardens that are being used. There's a vertical hydroponic gardens, and they're like really tall like this, and there's different compartments that you can put on them. Whenever you do that, it's for like mostly people like us, like we have a patio. You can put it on the patio and it's smaller spaces, it uses less water, so that way your water bills not run up, or you can just use rainwater. That's mostly for like herbs. You can grow like flowers and everything, and if that's all you want. The other kind is a raised garden bed. This is personally my favorite because it's a lot easier. I have a bad back, so I don't like to bend over into everything. So you can build them to your height, so that way you don't have to bend over. You can just sift through with your hands. Those are great for small spaces too, and they also have a very good output. It keeps pests out. You can also use like barrels. You can make it cute if you want to. You can also use concrete. The one thing about concrete, though, if you do use that, there is a chance that it will get hot in the soil, so it may overheat, and it could cause the not very good output on your plants. With gardens, it is not a very easy task. It's just a very rewarding one. Depending on the size of your garden, you would have to put in a couple hours, like multiple hours every single week. The size of your garden, if it's like about 800 to 1,500 square feet, it's 4 to 6 hours a week, and that feeds about 4 to 6 people. Whenever you get up and it's like 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, then that's 6 to 8 hours a week. It can feed up to about 6 to 10 people. And then 2 to 4,000 square feet. I don't know who has a 2 to 4,000 square feet, but everybody I know has at least under 2,000 or under, 1,500 or so. That's about 8 to 12 hours a week, and that can feed 8 to 15 people. It does save you a lot of money. As we've stated, the startup is a little bit higher in price, but with constant output, it helps the cost further on. There was one man who stated that him and his sister had a garden, and they had 10 50 square foot beds, which is 500 square feet. Every year they've saved, even with only $3 a square foot, they would save $1,500 a year. And bigger gardens equal more output and more savings. So you just have to look at your yard, make sure it's got enough sunlight and everything, and see what's going to work best for you. Whenever you come to trying to figure out if you want to start, the best questions to ask is, are you going to eat it? Is it cost efficient for you? Does it actually make sense in your area to build a garden? Because you have to make sure of climate issues, when you can plant. You have to know certain things. You have to make sure it's going to be worth it. But if you do, the home gardens are the best way to go because you have fresh food, fresh everything. You can just walk out and pick it if you need to.